The gentle waves of the Zeta-9 lagoon lapped at the shore, the purple hue of the water shimmering under the twin suns of the alien planet. Jackson Jax Hayes, a grizzled human traveler from Earth, sat on a rock by the shore, gazing at the distant mountains of the planet Solaris. He had been stationed on the planet for almost a year, working as part of a research team studying the planet's ecosystems. Though the work was grueling, he had grown fond of the peace and isolation the alien landscape provided until today. Jax had just finished gathering water samples when he noticed something strange in the distance. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but as he squinted into the distance, he saw movement. Something large was struggling in the lagoon, thrashing violently, creating ripples that disrupted the water's otherwise calm surface. "Is that an animal?" Jax muttered to himself, strapping his pack to his back and moving closer to the shore. As he approached, his heart quickened. A sleek, spotted creature, resembling a large leopard but with 6 limbs and silvery fur, was caught in the current. Its powerful body was clearly not designed for swimming, and it was losing strength fast. The creature's alien eyes, glowing an eerie shade of green, were wide with panic. Jax didn't hesitate. He'd been trained in alien wildlife care during his years on Solaris, and though he had never seen one of these creatures before, he wasn't about to let it drown. He dropped his pack, kicked off his boots, and dove into the lagoon. The cold water hit him like a shock, but he pushed through it, swimming hard toward the struggling creature. As he got closer, he could see the fear in its eyes, the desperation as it tried to claw its way to the surface. With great effort, Jax wrapped his arm around the creature's muscular neck, avoiding its snapping jaws, and began dragging it toward the shore. The creature thrashed violently at first, nearly pulling him under, but Jax held on, gritting his teeth as his muscles strained. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the shallows. The alien leopard collapsed on the shore, breathing heavily, while Jax stumbled onto the sand, gasping for air. For a moment, both man and creature lay there, side by side, catching their breath. Jax stared up at the sky, his heart still racing, and then turned his head to look at the leopard. It was majestic, even in its weakened state. He reached out, cautiously, to check for any injuries, but the creature didn't move. Just as Jax thought the danger had passed, the leopard stirred, its glowing eyes locking onto him. It growled low in its throat a warning. Slowly, it rose to its feet, its gaze shifting toward the thick bushes near the shoreline. Jax followed its line of sight and felt his stomach drop. There, nestled in the undergrowth, was something small and moving. Something alive. Jax pushed himself up, his breath catching in his throat as he approached the bushes. His hands trembled slightly as he parted the thick leaves to reveal a tiny, delicate creature no bigger than a human toddler, but clearly not of any species Jax had encountered. The being had iridescent skin that shimmered with 1,000 colors, and its wide eyes, far too intelligent for something so small, blinked up at him with a mix of curiosity and fear. The leopard growled again, this time stepping closer to Jax. It wasn't protecting itself in the water, it was protecting this tiny, fragile alien child. Jax's mind raced. What was this? How had he not known of the existence of such a creature on Solaris? And more importantly, why was it here, alone with a leopard? He knelt down, his hands trembling as he examined the child. There were no visible injuries, but the alien infant was clearly weak, its breaths shallow. It had been hiding in the bushes, perhaps waiting for the leopard to return. The thought struck Jax like a thunderbolt. The leopard wasn't a predator. It was a guardian. He turned to the leopard, now standing protectively over the child, its glowing eyes never leaving Jax. It growled softly, but not in anger, more as a warning, as if to say, "Don't come any closer." Jax felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't just an animal, it was intelligent. It was aware. He backed away slowly, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I didn't know," he said, though he wasn't sure if the leopard could understand him. "I didn't know what you were protecting." The creature watched him warily, its body tense, but it didn't attack. Instead, it nosed the small alien child gently, checking to make sure it was okay. Jax couldn't help but feel awe at the sight of a fierce predator caring for something so vulnerable, something so fragile. And then it hit him. The child, it was theirs. The Solarian apex species, long thought extinct, had been rumored to possess abilities far beyond those of any known sentient race. They were said to have telepathic powers, capable of forming bonds with the planet's wildlife. This alien leopard was likely a guardian, bonded to this child, protecting it from the harsh environment of Solaris. J-Ax felt the blood drain from his face. The implications were staggering. If this child was of the ancient Solarian race, it could be the key to understanding the planet's mysteries, maybe even unlocking new technologies or knowledge about the ancient civilizations that had once thrived here. But more than that, it was alive. After all the destruction and colonization the planet had endured, this child had somehow survived, hidden away and protected by the wild creatures of Solaris. Jax stood there, pale, as the enormity of the situation sank in. He had stumbled upon something far greater than himself, far greater than anything the research team had expected. This wasn't just a rescue mission, it was a discovery that could change everything. But as he looked at the child, then at the fierce guardian leopard standing over it, he realized that not everything was meant for human hands. Some things were sacred. Some things were meant to remain hidden, protected by the wilds of Solaris. Jax nodded to the leopard, understanding now. He backed away slowly, leaving the creature and its charge in peace. Whatever this child was, wherever it had come from, it wasn't his place to interfere. As he returned to the lagoon's edge to gather his pack, Jax glanced back one last time. The leopard had curled protectively around the alien child, its glowing eyes watching him, but this time, there was no hostility, only trust. And with that, Jax turned and left, knowing that he had just encountered a mystery far older and far more powerful than he could ever comprehend.